Our Paralympic athletes are in Sochi, and they continue to light up the skies out there. They are doing very well. Our medal count is going through the roof. Two-time gold medalist Brian McKeever got up and continues to win gold. And someone who's very familiar with what's going on in the world of sport, of course, is Gosal. He is Canada's sport minister, and he joins me in studio. Mr. Minister, thanks very much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
I think one of the things that is on the minds of a lot of Canadians is simply, why don't our Paralympic athletes get the coverage? They are really doing extremely well. The story of Brian McKeever is incredible, and I think more people should be talking about this. Why aren't we? Why aren't they getting the coverage?
Well, that's the question usually I asked, especially all the media when I talk to them. In London 2012, Paralympics first they started with a very little coverage.
Yeah.
When they saw the ticket sales, the coverage went through the roof.
Right.
Great, and especially these athletes, the way they perform, the determination they have. They overcome some of the disabilities. You saw Brian fell down, still won the gold medal.
It's an amazing story.
And it is amazing. And always, Government of Canada is always advocating, for these athletes, and they are great role models and inspirations to all Canadians.
Yeah, and just like all athletes in Canada, one of the biggest obstacles in order for them to train is a financial one. Certainly, the Government of Canada has come forward. Taxpayers all across our country, I think, are very much supportive of that. Certainly, there's questions, but corporate sponsorship is the big one. They do generally focus on the non-Paralympic athletes, that's for sure. But what can corporate Canada do? They need to do a little bit more. There's many that do a lot already, but is there something else? Is there other steps that need to be taken in order to help our Paralympic athletes sort of get the notoriety that the others are?
Oh, that's the question, so close to my heart. Every time, like Government of Canada is the single largest contributor to sport, amateur sport in our country. We spend over $200 million, but we won't be successful without a corporate sponsorship. So everywhere I go, when I talk to any corporation, any, either a bank, financial institution, or any other corporation, when I see them to a function, only thing I ask them was, can you sponsor some of our Olympians and Paralympians? It's resonating with people. We are getting more sponsorships, but let's do more. More could be done.
We see that we just showed an incredible ad. I think that's just wonderful. No one would be able to tell the difference between is Paralympic or not. Athletes are athletes, and I think the ones that operate under such onerous conditions. I mean, I watched our sledge, our guys on the ice. It's incredible. I mean, most people can't even barely stand up, with two strong legs. So that alone, I think, is certainly something to celebrate. Is there also another issue because of the fanfare certainly surrounding the opening closing ceremonies with the games a couple of weeks ago that closed, and now with the Paralympic athletes? Is that something that needs to be pushed more? Should we have more sort of notoriety and push more fanfare simply because a lot of eyeballs are watching those ceremonies alone? Is that a direction to go in? Is that something to talk about the IOC with?
I think we're moving in the right direction.
Okay.
And International Paralympic Committee and the Canadian Paralympic Committee, they're doing the right things. And every year it's increasing. And especially you mentioned sledge hockey.
Yeah.
Amazing to watch. I got in the sledge hockey this year with the national team, did a bit of training with them. My hats go off to them.
It's not easy to do.
No. I mean, it's easier to see, but and watching them is good, but playing, it's very hard. But it's moving in the right direction. There's always more could be done. And especially when it comes to media, the more we can show these Olympians and Paralympians, the better it is for public and corporate.
Is there a long-term strategy within the IOC to move the Paralympic athletes, move the games, even maybe not have it a week separate, maybe starting soon thereafter? Is there something would that even help?
Well, they're always talking about it, even combining both. There's some logistical issues, with the accessibility. I mean, Commonwealth Games are happening in this year, I mean, in Glasgow, and they are all common. They, all the para and the regular sports are together. But Olympic and Paralympic Games, I think the biggest issue is the accessibility, and they need time to change some of the venues to that accessibility, and that is the issue. But it's always a good thing to look at it.
So bottom line, Mr. Minister, is the call out to corporate Canada to continue to do more. A lot of them have stepped up. There's no question about that. Do a little bit more and continue to support not only our non-Paralympic, but our Paralympic athletes. Bottom line?
Same.
Yeah.
You got it right. You know, corporate Canada, they are supporting us. Let's do some little bit more. If they can a little bit more at a time, it's good for our athletes. Our athletes are such an inspiration and role models for all Canadians. You know, it's amazing to watch them.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you for having me.
That is Gosal. He is the Minister of Sport in Canada. And coming